Okay. As a synchronous employee, this is not an official submission, but I wanted to show you guys what I've been trying to put together, however unsuccessfully. So my idea for the bot as a way to make use of the RCS platform integrated with how a user would engage with a brand or a shop, for example, through what we've been looking at by way of interfaces is a bike shop recommender. The reason why I went down that route, choosing a bike can be a very complicated process. So are there many cyclists here in the room? People cycle much or a little bit? So I've been cycling for 10 years, and every time I go to buy a new bike, I have like 5 spreadsheets of the various different aspects in terms of the criteria that are important in recycling, in terms of the shape of the frame, the size of the wheels, the different gears that are on it. And so it's something that I thought would be useful because I hate going into a shop and having a conversation with a real human because, well, number one, I'm an engineer and I don't like humans. It's a general rule. And number two, you never really know what kind of spin that a particular shop will have in terms of brands that they shop. So they would have a particular bias towards particular brands, for example. So the idea here would be to have a broad bike recommended that could be used by many different bike shops and could be used to engage with all of the bike shops in a particular locality. That would help them, help the potential customers find a good bike shop or a suitable bike for them. So that's what I've got there. So determine a suitable bike for the customer's needs, find out if there are any particular deals in their area across different bike shops, and determine stock levels in their local bike shop. That was the idea. This is just a dump in my database, just to show you, kind of some of the dials that are relevant when you're choosing a bike. So, and this is only maybe 50% of the important criteria for me as a non-professional cyclist. So the brand is important to me, or well, the most important thing is whether it's a road bike or a mountain bike or a commuter bike. So that's obviously the primary criteria on when you're making a selection. After that, the brand is kind of important to me because I need to know. So maybe in Japan, I think Giant is pretty popular bike over here, which means here there are lots of different parts available for when your bike breaks. In Ireland, we don't have Lapierre. There's not many Lapierre shops, but there are many Trek shops. So as a consumer, it's important to me to know that after I buy the bike, parts, etc., are available. The type of brakes, the type of gear set, the kind of level in terms of the design of the frame. The frame size is gender specific, actually, in terms of comfort, how I ride, so whether I ride to win races or whether I ride to go long distance, for example.
Okay, just pause there for a moment. I'm conscious Entity AT can't understand. Maybe do a small summary of what Andrew is saying, just for Entity AT? Or maybe Andrew, are you able to summarize it a little bit? Or will I have Keanu?
Yeah, maybe better from Keanu. 自転車のラブカットわかります。わかってます。わかってます。すみません。いえいえ。でも本当の
Okay, after they finish.
So thank you very much for.
Okay. Then that's it.
Okay, I'll speed it up because I think there are other more important.
No.
In terms of how I went about designing the bot, and this was in retrospect a poor decision. I only started yesterday. So you guys might be familiar with Dialogflow, which is an excellent online mechanism for putting together an agent, an AI basically agent for determining how to engage with the user, designing a dialogue flow. I was able to do it with just a single intent called bike recommender and multiple entities. So that's how you pull out the semantics from what the user is saying. You use these concepts of entities and intents to determine what the user is trying to get from the agent. I was able to do that by just determining different facets that tie into the columns I had in the database I showed before for when you're selecting a bike. Fulfillment in terms of doing real-time lookup. So I have that database that I described there in the previous slide. So for each step in the flow, my design had the agent that implements the bot calling back to the database to see, oh, okay, so they want Tiagra gear set, for example, what's the best available that is closest to available in the closest bike shop to them. Okay. And that's calling back out to the database each time to get the most up-to-date information to steer the conversation as the interaction proceeds. Okay. And I got that database up and running, but I couldn't get them to integrate. So I won't go through the full flow here, but just so you get an idea of how I saw this going and how I implemented it in Dialogflow. So hi there, welcome to the bike shop, how can I help? The user says, I need to buy a new bike. And what kind of bike do you think you need? A road bike? And basically it steers, it's kind of, it's form-filling, a form-filling effort that is being updated with real-time information in the database as it goes. It's not really obvious here, but you get the idea. So they want a road bike, and then what frame style are you interested in, male or female? And do you want comfort or speed? Have you been cycling for long? I don't even know how to ride a bike. So I think that pretty much closes the conversation there. There's no need to go, if they're a beginner, you know, it's much simpler to choose what's a suitable bike. So based on what you told me so far, I have these 3 bikes in stock nearby, which may be of interest. And I didn't have time to do a screenshot, but the idea would be to show you the bikes and the distance to the closest bike shops that has them in stock at that point. And that's pretty much it. That's as far as I got. Why is it only Slider? I was starting from scratch. I should have at least had the database ready to go so that I had a sample e-commerce backend to model it on. Unfortunately, although the Dialogflow UI is brilliant, and in terms of the logic that it can expose to you when you're developing your bot, I could not find a way. I think similar to the issue that the guys have for their instance, trying to map the API so that you have an inbound webhook into Dialogflow doesn't seem to be possible today. And you guys are in the same boat. And I think my next step was to go down the way you guys went with having a Facebook interface that would call out to your bot like what you described before.
So do you guys, I mean, it's an offline conversation maybe afterwards when we're having a drink, but maybe there's something that needs to be made easier for that integration piece, because you've both had the same problem, so that, which is not a good thing in terms of onboarding, right?
Yeah.
Particularly for developers, there seems to be a step that's missing that should make this easier.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So if we, for example, just using Dialogflow as one particular example, because I found that amazing to work with, if we had an integration available with them that would allow a direct endpoint, so if we could expose a URL from Dialogflow and say, here's my endpoint for my bot, that we could drop directly into the map backend or MMP rather, that would be brilliant. We'd get up and going immediately. I think that's what we struggle on.
Okay.
So that's it. I'm not going to win any prizes, but I wanted to explain myself. So you didn't think I was just sitting here looking at my email.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.